What's good? What's good? I'm trying something new to get better audio. So recently, I watched a very interesting sort of documentary, you could call it maybe. I don't know. I'll link it in the description. It was by a YouTuber of the name Big Joel, and I had never encountered any of their content before, so this was the first video of theirs that I watched of his. And it was really compelling. It was compelling. I want to start the video by saying it was well done. It was compelling. I think he did some good research. He made some very valid points. Uh, to be honest, it was at times difficult to watch because I think some of the criticisms I internalized a little bit, particularly his assessment of J.P. Sears's sort of arc in terms of his creative comedic arc, but also the connection to his political arc because it's all connected. If you don't know who J.P. Sears is, okay, I think he's hilarious. However, I do agree with Big Joel in that JP is definitely changed quite a bit. But I think the change in his comedy ultimately is not without merit. So the name of Big Joel's documentary is Conservative Comedy Ruined My Life. And it takes about an hour and a half to assess, analyze, and criticize to an extent the current conservative comedy sphere. And so J.P. Sears is heavily featured. The Daily Wire is heavily featured. I'm trying to think. There was another person. I can't remember. Shoot. But anyways, I really honed in on the J.P. Sears part because I feel my path and his are parallel in a lot of ways. And there was a comment. I don't think it was a direct accusation, but an indirect almost comparison to JP doing what's called cult hopping. So JP went from the ultra spiritual community to the ultra conservative community. However, I don't think I agree. JP did make the switch, and he has gone pretty conservative. However, I think he was pushed there partially. He obviously made his own decisions, but when I say that conservative comedy is not without merit, it's because some of the jokes are rooted in reality. And this is where I connect to JP's path because I have felt for over the last 10 years, we have not been having honest, true, deep, and meaningful dialogue from left to right or with people of different perspectives as the woke ideology became very popular and powerful. The way in which conversations shifted, it stopped being a back and forth and it started becoming a one-way sort of top down, everything is a teaching moment, sort of you're wrong and this is the new reality, instead of it being a back and forth, instead of it acknowledging that there are multiple interpretations of reality. The woke movement has become very authoritative and authoritarian. So they think they are correct, they think they have the answers, and you must obey. And I personally, I think JP and I both have had this experience where in our teens, we were surrounded by people who really didn't fucking care. I've always cared, literally, since I was a teenager. Politics has just fascinated me. Sociology, culture has fascinated me. But my friends didn't care. They're like, oh my God, Andrew, shut up. Andrew, shut up. Nobody cares. And I noticed that around mid-20s, early to mid-20s, my friends started caring, but in a brainwashed fashion. They began just repeating these propagandist talking points, and they weren't engaging in honest debate. This is where the isms started becoming more popular, the ad hominem attacks. You're racist, you're bigoted, you're phobic if you disagree, or even if you ask questions, because they have the answers, and you need to learn, and you need to submit. So let's try to wrap this up. I got a little bit off track, but I think JP and I had that similar experience where it went from the people around us didn't really care to they cared a lot, but about the brainwashed shit. And then they weren't even able to have civil and honest and open dialogue and discourse around these things. And I talk about it in all of my videos that this is exactly what the social engineers want. They want this massive division, and they want this hatred, and they want us to not be united. A divided population is easier to conquer and control. And we have just been freaking conquered and controlled. And let me see if I can do a Russian accent. If you're not familiar, I'll give you the reference, but the destabilization of the West is complete. Yuri Bezmenov talks about the long game of destabilizing America so then it can be infiltrated and taken over. I use a lot of words, so it's hard to just pick one, but we'll say communists, we'll say fascists, which some people think are diametrically opposed, whereas I think they're just very slightly different, but very much similar. Authoritarians, globalists, totalitarians, whatever, the New World Order, whatever you want to call them. Evil people are attempting to manipulate reality. So I say that Marx got some things right, but what he got wrong is that it is not capital that alienates humans from material conditions. It is the ruling class, the oligarchs, the elites, the governments, the state that in fact alienates humanity from material conditions. Free trade, capitalism, is what enables people to rise up, to raise their circumstances, to interact freely and beautifully with their community. It is not capitalism, my friends. And so I wish, it'd be interesting to see Big Joel and JP have a conversation. That would be very interesting. Because like I have said, and what the title of this video is going to be, conservative comedy is not without merit. And the way out of this is through connection and communication. The way out of this division is through connection and communication. So Big Joel, JP, y'all should do a video together. Much love.